All right, guys, what's up? Let's go over the calendar first. All right, so for this week, right, Fed Powell's actually going to speak twice. He spoke today on the 27th. All right, this next time is going to be tomorrow, 8:30 a.m., an hour before the bell rings. It's going to be a good trades balance. And then we have Fed Powell speaking about 10:15, all right? This is probably the speech that's going to be weighted more. We're going to see more impact going Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then you got the jobless claims, and then the other big one is the personal income and the Michigan consumer sentiment. But I don't really care too much about the Friday ones. I'm more interested in Powell speaking and also the initial jobless claims and the 4-week average. All right, so we'll see if the jobs are starting to come down or not. All right, let's go over to the stocks. All right, if you guys don't know, they call something called smart money. It's what they call bond traders. Usually, the institutions and stuff like that who trade bonds is considered just smart money in the market, and then the dumb money is considered regular stock traders. All right. So this is HYG. This is bonds, and this is they usually say that this leads the stock market. To be honest, I haven't followed too much about it. I'm just sharing some knowledge. All right. So what they say is basically like, let's say if you're watching this like right now in a 1 hour time frame, right? And you see this moving to, let's say, a new high or just moving up. Let's say it's going from 71.58 to 73.50, right? It'll probably move before something like SPY, which is right here. All right. So the move in HYG will move up first and then later on, right? You might even see SPY go down and then later on it'll follow what HYG does, which is why they call it smart money versus dumb money. So it's just something for you to keep an eye on if you want to check it out. All right. So the next one I'm going to look at right now is the, let's start off first with Apple. All right. So Apple has been kind of trading sideways, and we had like this crazy, like, oh, they went back down and all that. But to be honest, what it's starting to look like is a W pattern. All right. And I think that we were actually going to see a bounce coming up. Okay. Retest this trend line right here, move towards 161, because the market is extremely oversold. And so what I did was I hedged myself at the moment. I bought puts, but I bought my puts like way out the money, right? No, not way, but out the money. And then I bought my calls closer to the money, okay? And the reason why I did that is because if it's gonna be a bounce, then I'm expecting that it's gonna be a little bit of a bounce, and then it's gonna go back down. But let's say it's not, right? Let's say the next 3 days it just fucking crashes, right? Well, I bought out of the money puts, and so I can afford more of the out of money puts because it's cheaper. And if it's gonna crash, it's gonna come down hard. You know what I mean? So there's a saying that bears take the elevator and bulls take the stairs. If you look at charts, slow rise, green, 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 and then when it's red, it just tanks, right? And that's where that saying comes from. So that's why I took that particular strategy this week, because to be honest, it's very like near the bottom. It could just fall out and go down. It could go up a little bit. I personally think it's gonna bounce, and it's gonna bounce from now probably into like the first week of October. Okay, October 7th or something like that. I'm gonna sneeze. And then we have big news coming up that I don't think many people are talking about. Excuse me. And that's China. Okay, China's gonna have their big policy, and I believe it's October 16th, if I'm not mistaken, is the day that they vote on their big policy going forward for the next few years. Okay, and considering that they didn't do anything in regards towards the United States banning Nvidia from selling products of their high-end AI chips to them, usually China is very retaliatory and is going to immediately do something back to whatever country or initial, sanctions or some shit like that, right? They didn't do anything. It's kind of quiet. So that's why I expect that. And they also haven't been speaking about Taiwan or anything like that. You never know. Maybe in this policy, they adopt a policy on the 16th saying that we're going after Taiwan, or we're going to do this to the United States, or whatever else they're going to do, right? The point is that their biggest policy date is going to be the 16th, and that's going to have some sort of impact on the market. And I think that's when we're going to get the next drop down, because it feels like it's way too oversold, and I think people are gonna get ripped up right now to try to squeeze out shorts, and then it's gonna come back down. If it goes down, I got my hedge. I'm good. All right. So this is what I expect on Apple. Let's go over to another big one. Bitcoin. Bitcoin, as you can see, had to move up to this 20K, kind of strong move right here. All right. So you can see that things are starting to bounce up, right? Bitcoin's at 20 from 18, and then we might even see this push up back up to 21.6, maybe even higher, maybe even 23. All right. Dixie, this is the dollar index. You can see it hit a strong high of 114. If you guys don't know, the dollar is worth more than the euro at the moment. It's actually approaching parity with the pound, which is even worth more than the euro. And their expectation is that the dollar is going to be at parity, or if not more than the pound by end of year, probably in November is what the reports are coming out. All right. So that means that the dollar is going to grow even stronger. And when the dollar goes stronger, the market goes down. All right. But this is a great time to go on vacation because our dollar is worth more than anything right now. All right. Let's go down to IBM. This is a trade I have right now. I bought calls, bought them a little bit more of the money because I'm expecting a move up to retest this broken trend line right here. All right. So I'm expecting a move like this. All right, retest this resistance right here. So we're looking at a move towards 126.56, and then a possible extension to test this one right up here, which should come out at 131.55. All right, Meta. This is probably a good value trade to buy because it's extremely weak. Now you might say, "Oh, it's gonna pop down." I had an initial target of 123.12, but at the moment, I actually do think we're gonna do the same thing for most of these. We got a break of this trend line right here. So we're going to retest it. I'm expecting Meta to test 164. Seems high, seems crazy, but never know. Microsoft has always been a strong stock. All right, you can see it right here. You can see it's kind of starting to round out. All right, looking for a test of this. 257. It's currently 239. Netflix surprisingly has held. All right, most of these stocks have dropped down pretty hard. Netflix has held, which tells me Netflix really, really wants to fill the gap. Right, we have a gap here, 343, and we have another gap, 500. Imagine that crazy move like that. That's what I see in the charts because we have gap needs to be filled. So the target to gap fill will be 334. Nvidia, I'm expecting this one to go up real high. It's bounced strongly into October because they're announcing the RTX 4090 chips, which are supposed to be 2 to 4 times faster what's currently out on the market, top what's out on the market, right? And so when that happens, that people are gonna go out and they're gonna buy that, right? Especially gamers and shit like me and miners, right? The other thing too is that when that comes out, then usually the chips before it, kind of like when you get an iPhone, new iPhone comes out, the old one kind of drops down in pricing, right? The 3090 are probably gonna drop in pricing, all right? So there's a pretty good potential for Nvidia to do some serious movement up, all right, with a target of 182. Probably no. You know what? We have this trend line going down right here. This 200 moving average target would be 159 in Nvidia. All right. I'm in Palantir calls. I have calls going all the way up. I have multiple calls. I'm expecting a move towards $10. QQQ. All right. So this is the tech weighted portion of the stock market. All right. The indices. All right. This is the Nasdaq. You can see how it had a little pop up right here. It hit my target. I had this target way out here at 271. This is based off this extension, and it hit really nicely. The next target down, right, is 241, but I don't expect that to be hit now. I'm expecting that this is gonna go up, hit the 200 moving average, come up to about 297, possibly higher to 310, and then come down towards 245. All right. Snap, I have calls here. I actually have calls and puts. All right. My puts have a target of 549. This is one of my safety plays in case the market drops down. Snap has been one of the weakest stocks in the market. Look at this crazy loss. All right. From 2020 all the way up to 2021, it was up $83. It's currently $10, and I'm expecting it to go down to $5. Okay. Which you can see right here is where it used to be back in 2019. All right. So in 2019, it was like $6, give or take. So that's where I'm expecting it to go down. However, I do think this call is going on because I'm expecting this to move up. Probably test 12. If you this 200-day moving averages right here, probably test this right here at $13. Okay, which is the same as this high right here. All right, that's my expectations on that. All right, so you move up, test 12.55, maybe even 13, and then drop down towards $5. So that's what I'm expecting on Snap. SPY, here we go. I put a Fibonacci on there already. All right, which is this little drop right here in the 4-hour chart, which is our recent drop. All right, expecting some retracement here. So probably looking at 376 to 380 is my target on the SPY. And then sometime in October, I want to be short to go down for the news from China and everything else. Unless it just goes on this week, we'll see. Tesla, look how strong Tesla's looking on the buy up. I should have bought Tesla. I usually trade Tesla these days, but I didn't buy this one. Look at Tesla, 288. This is gonna completely go forward towards 390. 300, 299, somewhere around there is my expectation. Maybe even 304, and then come down. Okay. And then UVIXI broke through this channel that was here, right? Long-term channel, right? And so what I think is going to happen is now that we broke it, we're going to retest with the Fibonacci, right? Probably hit towards 11, maybe even 1080. See this come down like this towards the 618 and the 50 back, and then buy for a crazy move up. All right. So huge amount of fear. My first target is 1469. I have another target sitting at like 21. There it is, 21. Okay, let me zoom out on this so you can see. All right, that's my expectation. We're gonna drop down and then bounce back up towards this. Maybe come down a little bit and then go all the way up to 20. Okay. And that's it. I'll leave it there. Shell, for you guys who trade gas, and ExxonMobil. Actually, I like Shell better because it's cheaper and it has more room to make. Look at this gap fill, dude. Look at it. Right here. 51. I'm expecting this to actually fill the gap and then come back down. All right. So gas prices I'm expecting to rise up. All right, that's it. I have calls and puts and multiple stocks. Expectation is a bounce this week, possibly even more next week, and then a big drop going into mid-October, probably first week of October. I mean, a second week of October. All right. Take care, guys.